Hey, what's up, guys? It's Icy Dice, and today I wanted to go on a little bit of a journey with you, talking about why I'm not such a fan of existential horror. Now, when you hear the words existential horror, you're probably thinking of works from folks like H.P. Lovecraft, whose work dives into the theory that perhaps there are other things out there, infinite in size and infinite in form, that we just can't comprehend with our limited human brains. And that through that fact, we discover that, our humanity and our lives are meaningless. And that in the grand scheme of things, we're really nothing. And on the surface, I think that this is a brilliant concept, and I've even toyed around with this in a couple of my stories. But I think that when you dive into the execution, I think that this can get really repetitive. And what I mean by that is that when you look into these stories, you often have a human narrator who's journeying into some dimension or into some dreamscape, and these revelations are being revealed to him that he's as insignificant to the universe as a grain of sand is to the planet Earth, if not less so. And through this revelation, he goes insane. He gets all nihilistic. He gets all emotional about it. Maybe he commits seppuku, if you know what I mean. You know, maybe he commits a bunch of murders and then takes himself out, or he just goes crazy and goes missing. Whatever the case, you get kind of a similar, journey when it comes to these stories. And I think that this used to be a novel idea, but the more that I see it and the more that I hear it described to me, in analysis videos or short stories, the more I grow wary of hearing it. And it's because I think it's a very boring perspective on nihilism and existentialism at this point. I think it's boring to suggest that us as human beings, when approached by these unfathomable realities, would simply collapse. Our minds would collapse, and that's all there is to it. There's nothing else really to explore, other than, of course, some pretty cool world building. Ultimately, I will give H.P. Lovecraft credit for that. That the world building in his mythos is pretty cool, and I think that a lot of these stories thrive as it pertains to world building, laying out all the different like universes and dimensions and realms that these gods or these behemoths reside in. I think that that's pretty cool. But I think that the storyline of, the human character becoming insane and they're doomed, their fate is sealed, it's just repetitive and boring to me. And I think that the concept has grown very tired. And I think that a better concept at this point, and this is a concept that I tried in one of my own stories, you can actually go to the Creepypasta Wiki and read these stories. The stories are, it's like a little trilogy actually, called He Who Sits Above, He Who Sits Beyond, and Letter to Jacob, in which it's actually not the human characters that are growing insane. It's like the gods. It's these, infinite gods who, despite their great stature and despite their greatness, they're nothing in comparison to other gods, because ultimately their reality exists to tell a story as a part of a narrative. And so all they are characters within a story. They're set pieces, characters, whatever you want to call them. And this was like a concept that I found to be interesting. I don't want to like ramble about that story too much. If you really are interested, you can go ahead and read it. But the point is that, you have this journey with these gods going insane, these gods fighting life to be meaningless. And the irony of it is, and this is spoilers, so skip forward like 20 seconds if you don't want to hear it. In Letter to Jacob, it's the human character that doesn't fall to insanity at the prospect of being so insignificant, that despite the god's greatness, it's the humanity that the human character possesses that gets him through it. And really, I think that that's a more interesting concept at this point, to tackle the concept of the human spirit and the human will in such a way that even in the face of odds and ideas that make us seem worthless, we can pull through by creating our own worth. Because ultimately, I don't think, and I think a lot of people would agree with me, that even if the universe is to be infinite and cold and uncaring, I don't think that actually has much relevance to us as human beings. I think that a lot of us human beings have already accepted that possibility, and yet we find value in things like relationships and the intimate moments that we have between people that we care about. And I think that's what a lot of us, it keeps us going. And, we form goals of our own, be it in our social life or in our career, that keeps us going. And I think that reaching out to those things and having human characters overcome this existential crisis that they have as a part of their character development is at this point a vastly more interesting and novel idea than them just going insane and they're doomed and it's whatever, I wish more stories would do that. I've been trying to do it a little bit, but hopefully other people can be inspired to do the same if they want to tackle a Lovecraftian concept or even any story really that deals with themes of nihilism or existentialism or free will. And I'm just gonna keep this video short and end it there. I hope you guys understand, my frustrations with the genre that people would call Lovecraftian. And I hope that you guys will leave your comments below if you have any thoughts on it, if you agree or disagree with my position. If you liked the video, be sure to like, and if you want to, you can even subscribe. Thank you guys. This is Icy Dice, and I'll see you in the next one.